New H-1B rules could shift Indian talent to China. For decades, the path for many of India's brightest was a familiar one: get into a top university, land an H-1B visa, and chase the American dream. That path led straight to Silicon Valley, to Wall Street, and to the heart of global innovation. But in 2025, that dream now comes with a staggering, almost unbelievable price tag: $100,000. And just as the United States makes it harder and more expensive to get in, another world power is rolling out the welcome mat. This isn't just another policy tweak, it's a potential earthquake for global talent. We're going to break down what these new rules mean for hundreds of thousands of Indian professionals, why it's happening, and how this could reroute the flow of top minds from west to east. So stick around, because the map of opportunity is being redrawn. The American dream interrupted: a wall of fees and anxiety. For a generation of Indian professionals, the American dream is hitting a wall. A bureaucratic process that was once just complicated is now becoming a massive financial and logistical burden. Let's break down the major changes in 2025 that are causing all this chaos. First, and the most shocking, is the new $100,000 H-1B visa fee. Let's be clear about what this is. A presidential proclamation on September 19, 2025, introduced this fee for new H-1B petitions for workers who are currently outside the United States, and it took effect just 2 days later. So if you're a talented coder in Bengaluru with a new job offer from a US company, your potential employer now has to cough up a $100,000 fee just to file your paperwork. That's a huge jump from the few $1,000s it used to cost. The administration says this is to make sure only the best and brightest are hired. But what about the thousands of startups and medium-sized businesses that drive the tech economy? They're now facing a crushing barrier to hiring global talent. USCIS has clarified that this fee doesn't apply to those already in the US changing their visa status, like a student on an F1 visa moving to an H-1B, or for simple renewals. But for the massive pool of talent in India waiting for their first shot, the door to America just got $100,000 heavier. The second blow creates a crisis of stability for those already here. Starting October 30, 2025, the Department of Homeland Security has ended the policy of automatic extensions for most employment authorization documents, or EADs. Before this, many workers, including the spouses of H-1B holders on H-4 visas, could keep working for up to 540 days while their renewal was processing. This was a critical safety net against long government backlogs. That safety net is now gone. For any renewal application filed on or after October 30, if an EAD expires, that person must stop working immediately until their new card is physically in their hand. For an Indian family with two incomes, one on an H-1B, the other on an H-4 EAD, this creates intense anxiety. Processing times can take 6 to 12 months, and a small delay could mean a sudden loss of income and a derailed career. It turns a life built over years into a game of chance, all because of paperwork. The third big change is a proposed shakeup of the H-1B lottery itself. The 2025 reforms aim to replace the random lottery with a merit-based structure that prioritizes higher wages. On the surface, that sounds fair. But in practice, it heavily favors senior-level, high-earning professionals over recent graduates or those in essential but less extravagantly paid jobs. This move would fundamentally alter the odds for a huge portion of the Indian applicant pool, which has long made up over 70% of all H-1B recipients. So why all these changes at once? From the US administration's point of view, this isn't random, it's a deliberate strategy. The official reasoning is tied to a Buy American, Hire American philosophy, which is designed to protect the domestic job market. The argument is that the H-1B program was being used by some companies to hire cheaper foreign labor instead of Americans, especially in IT consulting. The $100,000 fee is seen as a way to force companies to prove a foreign worker is truly exceptional, not just a way to save money. The logic is, if a company is willing to pay that much, the employee must be indispensable. Similarly, ending automatic EAD extensions is being framed as a move to tighten up security and vetting procedures. It all points to a major shift in thinking, from seeing high-skilled immigration as a driver of innovation to seeing it as a potential threat to local jobs. The US is essentially raising the price of admission, hoping to shrink the applicant pool and push companies to train American workers first. Whether this will actually work or just drive innovation and jobs to other countries is the million-dollar, or rather $100,000 question. The global talent war, the pivot to Asia. With the door to the US getting harder and more expensive to open, where will all this talent go? Well, China is making its move. As the US tightens its policies, China has launched a bold initiative to attract the world's top minds. Effective October 1, 2025, China introduced a new K visa aimed specifically at young foreign graduates and professionals in STEM fields. This isn't just another work visa, it's a direct competitor to the H-1B's long-standing dominance. What makes the K visa so appealing? Its flexibility. Unlike the H-1B, the K visa doesn't require an applicant to have a job offer or an employer sponsor before they arrive. This removes one of the biggest hurdles for recent grads and researchers. It lets talented people come to China, look for opportunities, and even start their own companies. It's a clear signal to the world's STEM graduates, a huge number of whom are from India, that China is ready to invest in them. This is a calculated part of Beijing's larger strategy to boost its own tech industry and compete with Silicon Valley. While the US is building financial walls, China is building bridges. Visa firms in India are already seeing more inquiries about Chinese visas. As young professionals start looking for a plan B, the sentiment is obvious online, with one Reddit user writing, $100,000 fee for H-1B, maybe Beijing instead of Boston. Of course, China isn't the only country in the game. Nations like Germany and South Korea are also stepping up their efforts to attract skilled Indian professionals. Talent is the new currency of global power, and the US decision to make it harder to get is creating a vacuum that other countries are rushing to fill. A new path forward, the analysis. Of course, moving to China isn't a simple choice. The decision between the traditional American dream and this new Eastern opportunity is complicated, and it's important to see both sides. On the one hand, the appeal is growing. China has a booming tech scene, massive government investment in areas like AI and biotech, and the chance to work on groundbreaking projects. For an ambitious Indian professional staring down years of uncertainty and huge costs in the US, a visa without a prior job requirement offers a much smoother path. It's a chance to get international experience in a major market without being tied to a single employer's sponsorship. However, the challenges are very real. The language and cultural barriers are significant. While English is common in the tech world, Mandarin is key for daily life and deeper integration. Geopolitical tensions between India and China also create a layer of uncertainty for expats. Plus, concerns about things like internet censorship and different views on personal freedoms are serious factors that give many people pause. And it's worth noting that China already produces a huge number of its own STEM graduates, creating a competitive job market. Ultimately, this is about more than just a choice between the US and China. It signals a bigger shift in the world order. For the first time in a long time, highly skilled Indian professionals have credible, powerful alternatives to the United States. The power dynamic is changing. They are no longer just applicants in a long line, they are a sought-after global resource. This new reality is forcing everyone to ask what the dream really is. Is it tied to one country, or is it about finding the best place for your talent to shine, wherever in the world that might be? What we're seeing in 2025 is a major reshuffling of global opportunity. The United States, with its new $100,000 H-1B fee and the end of EAD extensions, is putting up financial and bureaucratic hurdles that are making the American dream look like a nightmare for many. In sharp contrast, China is rolling out the welcome mat with flexible new visa options, making an aggressive play for the world's best and brightest STEM talent. This isn't just a story about visa rules. It's about the future of innovation, where intellectual capital flows and which countries will lead the next economic boom. Will the US remain the world's top magnet for talent, or will this be the moment that new tech hubs in the East begin to rise, powered by the same minds that once looked only to the West? The impact of these decisions will be felt for decades. But now, I want to hear from you. If you are a student or a professional trying to navigate these changes, what's your plan? Is the American dream still worth the price, or are you looking at other options like China, Canada, or Europe? Share your thoughts and your strategy in the comments below. This is a conversation that affects millions, and your voice matters. And if you want to stay on top of this developing story and get more analysis on the news that impacts you, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell.